intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed.
Knock it off.
And all kinds of ice cream and candy.
Knock it off.
Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now. It's time to stretch and fetch. See what's cooking at our refreshment counter. You'll find your favorite foods and beverages, plus many new goodies to tempt your appetite and add to your evening's pleasure. Everything's the finest quality. So treat yourself now. Nine minutes to go to showtime. Popcorn, rich with hot melted butter. All kinds of candy. Sparkling soft drinks. Steaming hot coffee. Steamed or grilled hot dogs. Crispy hot fresh French fries. Minutes to go to showtime.
Go visit.
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons.
But
It's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar. Like soft drinks, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
Seven minutes to go to showtime. Hot popcorn, just pop.
I have eggs.
Fresh roasted peanuts.
Let me impregnate me. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, those are eggs.
How about a pizza? None better anywhere.
Ginger and
Sizzling hamburgers grilled to your taste. We've a large assortment of freshly made sandwiches.
Well, if I wake up...
6 minutes to go to showtime.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those. And 1 of those. And 5 bars of these. And a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of those peculiar white coffee material.
You mean our crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. My saucer's just outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission.
What? Yeah.
Minutes to go.
Hello there. Give the demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. The machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at a snack bar just waiting for you. Mmm.
Minutes to go to showtime.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold.
Oh, there, and I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Nathan, there's better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream. Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you could get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
'The crowds are thinning out at the snack bar, folks, and there are still 3 minutes till showtime. You can easily make it for something that'll just hit the spot. How about it? Don't waste a second of refreshment time. You'll find such an appetizing assortment of refreshments at the snack bar, you won't be able to decide what to ask for first. All of your snack bar favorites are there, including fresh peanuts, hot popcorn, and candy of all kinds. And believe us, you've never eaten better hot dogs, crisper French fries, or more delicious buttered popcorn. Minutes to go to the snack bar for a quick refresher before showtime. No crowds to buck, just go get it. You'll be sorry you missed your chance to enjoy some of the many tempting goodies waiting for you. Stretch your legs now while the stretching's good. There's still time to get a mouth-watering hot dog, a sparkling ice-cold soda, assorted flavors of ice cream, all kinds of candy, the most delicious steaming hot coffee you ever drank, and freshly popped popcorn piping hot. Make a beeline for the snack bar right now to quench your thirst. One minute left to top off the evening with a treat from our snack bar. Still time if you hurry. Last call for refreshments, folks. Go right this second to get something good to eat and drink to enjoy now or during the rest of the show. The finest quality ingredients are in the fixins of the delicious foods you'll find waiting to tempt your appetite at the snack bar. Extra special good hamburgers, wonderful donuts, ice-cold, thirst-quenching drinks. Pizza generously sliced, steaming hot, fresh coffee, ice cream in many flavors. It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
Hi. Oh, shit. It was on the whole time? I guess it was. Hi. How are you? Because I'm fan-fucking-tastic. Alright, so... I'm gonna be playing a different game. I'm gonna be playing, fuck, what was it called? I forgot. I downloaded it and everything. Come on, library. 428 Shibuya Scramble.
Howdy, Goth.
That's what it is. 428. It's like 420, but 8 at the end. Hi, T. How are you?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Doggy. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Hi, doggy.
There we go. All right, so I gotta get this thing to actually show up on stream. So give me a second. What do we have? Not a fucking thing. Okay. Fuck. I really wish that XSplit didn't always require you to add a new source whenever there's a different game that you want to toss up there. Because it is kind of annoying that it happens all the time. It's black. Why is it black? It should be right there. It's not. It's not. It's just not.
You can't edit sources?
No, you can't, unfortunately. You can right click and edit, but it doesn't let you choose a different source type. If that makes sense. Like, that's the only thing that's missing from all this. Refresh? It's still not showing up. Let me try reboot the game. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that. Fuck. I want to edit. Exit. Quit game. Okay, now play. And it magically shows up. It does not magically show up. In fact, nothing happens. Auto detect. Nothing. I wonder if the game... Hold on, maybe the game is trying to use my other graphics card, and maybe that's why it's freaking out. Hold on a second. Let me try to change a few things. And D. And D. Let's see, games. Gaming. 428 is right there. Clicky click. Let's see, graphics profile. Yep, everything looks good there. That part doesn't look good. We'll change that. Everything else looks fine. So why is it not being picked up by the thing? I am confused. Let's try this again. Play. Still nothing. Okay. Monitor capture. Oh, that works at least. So I guess we're doing it that way. Just rearrange all this stuff. Actually, we don't even need that. We can get rid of you.
Let's go.
Boop. Alright. None of the above? I'm using mouse and keyboard. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Actually. What the fuck? To apply video settings, reset the game. Okay, that's fine. I could do that. Maybe that's why. We'll reset the game, see what happens. I will do that. Oh, fuck, I did that wrong. Do that. And do that. And then play. And it magically
Do you have
works.
a controller plugged in?
No, I don't. No, it's not working. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Well, I have to do it this way, it looks like. Just does not seem to work any other way. There's going to be a lot of talking in this one. Select a bookmark to save to. Yes. Save complete. Movie game? Not really, no. The story is a work of fiction, blah, 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 blah. I mean, there are actors in this game.
Holy shit, intro reminded me of Revolution.
Haas? Wait, what the fuck? Haas? Is Haas okay? This is like the fifth user account that they followed me on. Make that 6. What is going on? Don't know if bot or not. This is pretty loud. Hold on. All right.
I'm hearing like boat music.
It's the love boat.
It is kinda sus though in GL.
会社員の話によりますと、立てこもっている男は北島という男である可能性が高いとのことです。その男は以前からこのビル内のある企業との仕事上の取引があり、金銭上のトラブルが絶えなかったということです。今回の立てこもりはそのトラブルに端を発したものではないかとの見方が広がっています。
Select your character. As you play through the game, the various mechanics will be explained. In 428, you follow the stories of multiple protagonists at once. Your decisions impact their experiences as you read the story. What does the day hold in store? Their fate is in your hands. Hopefully you can see them all through to the end. To start, you have two characters, Shinya Kano and Achi Endo. Let's begin by checking out Kano's story. What if I don't want to? God damn it. You're making me. Just 2 more minutes to go. Shinya Kano noted the time again on his watch, scowling at the slow creep of the second hand. The time was 9:58 a.m. Furrows of consternation creased his forehead. He wasn't nervous, but he knew better than to expect everything to go smoothly. Keeping a level head, he was proving rather difficult. There was no room for failure. Lives were on the line here. Care to explain? He eyed his surroundings. Yeah, those sure are people. Was the perp really going to show up? Is this a stakeout? When? Where would he be coming from? How would he make his approach? The Shibuya Scramble was as packed as ever. A throng of people crossing this way and that, blissfully unaware of the dozens of detectives hidden in its midst. I mean, they kind of stick out like a sore thumb if they just have their hands above their head like that and just, like, sticking a finger in their ear. Just not uncommon. I mean, not uncommon. It is extremely uncommon. All right, another minute and a half. Kano glanced down at his watch yet again. A mere 30 seconds had passed. Detective Kano had been with the enforcement arm of Shibuya's criminal affairs section for a year now, but he'd never been part of an operation this big before. He eyed the young woman standing beside the statue up ahead. She was small enough to get lost in the crowd, and she carried a nondescript attaché case. Hitomi Osawa, age 19. The attaché case in her hands contained a full 50 million yen in cash. God fucking damn. Yesterday, her twin sister Maria had been kidnapped. I didn't make it very far. I just kind of gave up in the middle of it. Yesterday, her twin sister Maria had been kidnapped. This was the ransom payment. The culprit had called Hitomi last night at home, referring to her by name and telling her to wait by the statue of Hachiko in Shibuya. Very famous statue. It was almost time, but nothing. Kano was staring fixedly at the second hand on his watch when a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk murmured just loud enough for him to hear. Come on, Kano. Quit looking at your watch so much. What if the kidnapper sees you? Kano tried to look nonchalant as he lifted his eyes, but the scruffy character continued. You're too nervous. Just relax already. You're the one acting suspicious, Sasayama.
Think you played this before?
Kano frowned. I did. Again, I never finished it. Didn't even make it past the first chapter because I got confused as to what the fuck I was doing. But I feel good now.
I remember that guy.
Why would some homeless guy be talking to me? Yuji Sasayama was the senior officer of the Shibuya's Precinct, Criminal Affairs Division. 5 years older than Kano. Some words and phrases in the text appear in blue. These are called tips. Press tab to underline a tip, then press space. This will let you read some extra info relating to that word or phrase. There are tips containing general knowledge and ones that are 428 specific. These are marked with a ch and a ch, respectively. Official name, Shibuya Central Precinct, blah, blah, blah. Lots of people, lots of things. Okay, got it. He always went a little overboard with the disguises. He claimed it was all part of the job, but word around the station was that he just liked playing dress-up. Hey, pal, spare some change? Sasayama lurched to his feet and shuffled in close to Kano. Hey, knock that off. Fittingly for the part, Sasayama reeked pretty badly. Well, ain't so suspicious now, huh? He clung to Kano with mock camaraderie, despite the younger man's attempts to pull away. Come on, Sasayama, cut it out. Sasayama's blithe confidence rattled Kano's nerves. Of course, there was a good reason for that confidence. This was Kano and Sasayama's jurisdiction, but they were positioned a good distance from where the handoff was to take place. I meant to hit... God damn it. Sometimes 2 or more tips will appear on a single screen. Press that to change them. Okay, got it. Yes, 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 thank you. What is jurisdiction? I think we know what that means. What is Statue of Hachiko? I think we know what that means, too. Kano and his partner were just there to provide backup if the kidnapper attempted to flee. Look, just try to relax. We'll be fine. Sasayama gave him a wink. A moment later, the radio squawked in Kano's ear. All right, everyone, it's time. Keep your eyes open. The voice coming in through the earpiece was Koji Kuze, HQ's operations director. What's an operations director? I think we know. Until last year, he'd been the Shibuya precinct's head detective and Kano's supervisor. We don't know when the perp is going to make contact. Don't let your guard down. Kuze's low, gravelly voice echoed in Kano's ear. You don't sound too worried, Kuze. Kano winced at Sasayama's words. How could the man be so nonchalant? The appointed time had come and gone. Something should be happening. Whap! Kano smacked himself in the thigh to release a little tension. The sound was louder than he intended, but although the suit hid his muscular physique, it did little to dampen the noise. He needed to stay focused. He might be called to action at any moment. The department handled abduction cases according to a certain standard investigation procedure. Was it an attempt to extort money, or was the motive something personal? The answer to that question determined how they deal with a criminal. And based on the investigation team's initial findings this time around, they probably weren't dealing with a professional kidnapper. Still, in all likelihood, it was someone with quite a long rap sheet. Probably someone who knew the family, but so far, they had few leads on who might bear such a grudge. With the situation so unclear, the plan was to apprehend whomever came to make the handoff on site.
Thighs when you're nervous.
You know me, I'm just clapping my thighs together. Just... If the culprit ran with the money, there'd be no guarantee of the hostage's well-being. Still nothing. Sasayama muttered. There he is! He's here! Kuze broke in, his voice spiking into an excited chirp. What is an excited chirp? Kuze's particular vocal quirk. Whenever he gets overly flustered, excited, or panicked, he slips into a childish register, prone to babbling and pitching his voice. Subject is a young male in his 20s, wearing a bandana and an orange hoodie. Kuze, normally calm and stoic, was now squawking like an excited child.
Reverts to baby.
That only happened when he got particularly worked up. Kano and Sasayama steeled themselves. They could see the subject now. A 20-something male nonchalantly approached Hitomi to talk to her. All right, people, be ready to grab this guy. Kuze was stationed in the mobile command center not far from the intersection, keeping tabs on the situation via video surveillance from the camera team. The young man started speaking enthusiastically to Hitomi. The detectives watched, uncertain. Was this really the kidnapper? Can you not tell the fucking adverts in his hand? Those are adverts. You'll encounter selections like these, just fucking choose one. Got it, okay. Please let me choose one. Thank you. The situation still wasn't entirely clear. He needed to get a better look at things. He needed to get a better look at things. Okay. The newcomer held a bundle of letter-sized paper, which he showed to Hitomi as he went on talking. He tried to hand her one of the papers, but she pointedly ignored him. Undeterred, the man kept trying to foist it off on her. Hitomi refused to respond, becoming as motionless as the statue of Hachiko behind her, until finally the man gave up and walked away. Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. Guy must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. What does hitting on her mean? I think we know what that means. I mean, she is pretty cute and all. He had a point. Though, of course, something in Sasayama's voice made Kano brace himself. She's got nothing on my Michan. Michan was Sasayama's wife. They'd gotten married just last month. Let me tell you, Kano, married life is the best. You gotta hurry up and give it a try for yourself. This was Sasayama's favorite topic lately, and Kano was getting more and more fed up with it. Sasayama, come on, just knock it off, okay? The phrase had become a common refrain of his since the department partnered them. Fine, fine. Let's talk about your girlfriend, then. Huh? Now? You can't be serious. Sasayama leaned in close again. What's she like? We're not having this conversation. Kano muttered, looking away. Aw, come on! Sasayama set his hand on Kano's chest, still playing the homeless troublemaker. Show me your phone. Let me see your lock screen. Huh? Sasayama pawed for the phone. You got a pic of your girl on the lock screen, yeah? I do not. But he did. It was scary how on the mark Sasayama's instincts were. Hey, cut it out! We're in the middle of an investigation. I am investigating. Sasayama chuckled as he plucked the phone from Kano's pocket. His face scrunched up with astonishment as he looked at the lock screen. The heck is this? It's not... Ain't this Masami Nagahama? Who the fuck is that? A national star tends to play the heroine on national morning soap operas or in national historical dramas. Her songs have been a series of national hits, and she's even slated to host the year-end national singing competition program. Everything about her is national. Kano realized he had to bite the bullet. No, that's my girlfriend. Her name's Rumi, and she's... Sasayama cut him off. You're telling me this ain't Masami Nagahama, the famous actress. Because this right here is Masami Nagahama. Like I said, you sly old dog, trying to make like you're dating Masami Nagahama. I'm not. I mean, I guess Rumi does kind of look like her. Sasayama let out a huff. For real? You really think I'm gonna fall for that? There's nothing to fall for, I swear. Sasayama scowled, unconvinced. Alright, then why don't you marry her?
Can they cram that name in one paragraph?
Kano stammered, but he had no answer. The truth was, he would have happily married her already, but there were obstacles that needed to be overcome. Okay, playtime's over. Let's focus on the job. Sasayama handed back Kano's phone and turned his gaze back to Hitomi. Kano let out a quick, uneasy sigh, but his shoulders did feel looser. Maybe Sasayama had been trying to relieve a bit of the tension. Maybe he should be grateful. And then he opened his big dumb mouth and realized that he wasn't grateful. By now, several minutes had passed since the guy with the papers had gone away. He peered at Hitomi. The strain on her face was visible. In addition to the weight of the attaché case itself, the 10,000 yen bills it held weighed close to 6 kilos. Her slender arms must have been getting tired. Still, she refused to set the case down. She wasn't taking any chances with her sister's life. The kidnapping case had begun the day before, at around 7 p.m. This is MPD Dispatch. The Shibuya precinct is reporting a missing person, believed to be an abduction. What is an abduction? I think we know what that is. Subject is Maria Osawa, a 19-year-old student at Midoriyama Academy, last seen at the LL Diner near campus. A man was allegedly seen forcing her into a car nearby. All officers in the vicinity report to the scene at once. Kano and Sasayama had been working a burglary case in Jingumai's 5th district when they got the call. I always have trouble saying that fucking area. Always have, always will. Hold on. Oh, shit. I accidentally clicked on things I didn't mean to. Oh, boy. Two arrived at the LL Diner at 7:15 p.m. Sorry, I needed a drink.
How about they Jenga their own mai?
I wish they would Jenga their own fucking Maie all the goddamn time. Just leave me out of it. At roughly the same time, several other officers showed up to secure the area, blocking off entry to nearby roadways and monitoring the surrounding establishments. Inside the restaurant, Kano and Sasayama were met by the girl who'd reported the kidnapping. It was the victim's twin sister, Hitomi. Could you tell us about when Maria was taken? Starting from the very beginning? Kano said, keeping his voice low. My sister and I, we were supposed to go to a party together today. Hitomi was trembling, her voice hoarse. But I messed up the time. I showed up right at 7, an hour later than I was supposed to. So Maria had gone alone to the party, a mixer for locals and exchange students. Hitomi, arriving late, had showed up just in time to glance out through the restaurant window and see her sister getting shoved into a car. She described the vehicle as a blue station wagon of Japanese make. Why? Why would something like this happen to her? Hitomi held back her tears, but she was shaking all over. Did you get a look at the kidnapper? Yes, it was a man, middle-aged. There was another eyewitness, Leland Palmer. You know that name? That's the same name as the father of the murder victim in Twin Peaks. So, I don't know if that was intentional or not. He identified himself as a lecturer at Hitomi and Maria's school. I saw it too. It's like Hitomi says. I heard Hitomi cry out and say I went to the window to look, and his Japanese was halting, as if he hadn't been in the country very long. And I think that maybe the kidnapper was working alone. Leland explained that he'd seen the man shove Maria into the back seat, then clamber into the driver's seat. If he had an accomplice, wouldn't they have been driving? Neither Hitomi nor Leland had gotten a look at the suspect's face. Kano was interviewing others who had been on the scene, looking for other potential witnesses when his phone rang. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the senior detectives. We've set up a task force for the investigation. Get back to the station once you have a handle on the situation there. Barely half an hour had passed between the time the kidnapping was reported and the time the task force began operation. What is a task force? I think we know what that is already. When Kano and Sasayama got back to the precinct station, Kuze had already arrived from HQ. He informed them that a response team had been formed to investigate the victim's home. What is the response team? It is often difficult to resolve this situation without cooperating with the victim's family, but the family can also be a hindrance in making an arrest, of course. To help guide the family's actions, a response team is assembled and stationed at the victim's home, led by an investigator with proper training. Kano could feel a peculiar tension in the air. unfamiliar MPD detectives scurried to and fro around the Shibuya offices. He pulled one of them aside to get a quick update. An hour had now passed since the kidnapping. There had been one new development. The perpetrator had made a threatening call to the victim's home. He said the following: "Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiku in Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit." Kajiwara from the precinct was put on the response team, along with detectives from elsewhere who'd received special training in abduction cases. Normally, a local precinct detective wouldn't have gone undercover in a victim's home. Kuze, however, had decided that having a knowledgeable local was crucial and had sent Kajiwara along. The detectives disguised themselves as delivery people and movers to make their way inside without arousing suspicion, arriving there at 8:30. The response team had come prepared to run a trace if the kidnapper contacted the family a second time. I think we know what that means, but just for shits and giggles, there it is. But there were no further calls. Kano checked his watch again. 20 minutes had now passed since the time designated for the ransom handoff. The kidnapper had yet to appear. Crap. You think we might have spooked him? He wondered aloud. Hey, stay calm. Sasayama scanned the passing throng. He's just playing with us. Why'd this guy even pick this place? Kana voiced the question he'd been asking himself ever since he'd heard the kidnapper's demands. Sasayama shrugged. Figure he must want to blend in with the crowd, nab the money, and disappear before anyone knows he's there, would be my guess. In that case, why not pick Shinjuku or Ginza? The big crowd didn't just benefit the kidnapper after all. It also allowed the police to use the sea of people to conceal their own operation. Right now, there were 50 detectives stationed within a 50-meter radius of where Hitomi stood. The kidnapper would be taking a major risk if his plan was to nab the ransom money and run. That's what bothered Kano. Any criminal with half a brain would know better than to do a handoff in front of Hachiko. You're overthinking things, pal, Sasayama grumbled. No, I'm not. Kano reached into his pocket and pulled out his notepad. This was Kano's dick diary, which he always kept close at hand. We're not going to look too much further into that. Sasayama rolled his eyes. That thing again. Kano ignored him, flipping through the notepad pages. Aha, here it is.
Investigation Goth investigation.
Dictum number 89.
Keep my dick diary under my bed.
I usually just keep it in my pocket at all times. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. It was a favorite saying of Kyuzo Tateno, an assistant inspector from the Shibuya precinct. Tateno was the kind of detective Kano aspired to be. For the current operation, he'd been placed in charge of Hitomi's personal safety. He was in position to defend her as soon as the ransom had been handed off. Of course, Hitomi hadn't been informed of how much protection she was under. There was a risk that, if she acted too secure, it might alert the kidnapper. I think Tateno has the right idea. Sasayama snorted quietly. He's a great detective. Don't get me wrong. But do you know how many irrelevant things there are to consider? Again, Kano ignored him. It didn't matter if nobody else understood. Kano had faith in Tateno, as both a detective and as an individual. Especially after looking at that penis size and writing about it in the dick diary. He had first witnessed Tateno's brilliance during a standoff at a financial company 3 years earlier. A man had shut himself in an office, splashing gasoline everywhere and threatening to set the place ablaze. While the others hesitated, Tateno unflinchingly doused himself with gasoline and strode into the building, where he managed to talk the man down and secure the scene. That takes some fucking balls. The others had been awestruck by Tateno's actions.
Story time, Lou.
And Kano, who at the time had been content to be a run-of-the-mill policeman, had found it quite inspiring. Hey, Toots. Still, you know, Sasayama murdered, wow. I'm getting way too far ahead of myself in this story. Sasayama murmured under his breath.
Thanks, but I what it means LMAO.
That was Snoop who gifted a sub to you. And being a sub just means that you're a subscriber, so that means that you get, like, perks and stuff in chat. Like, I think all I have at the moment is, like an emote, a custom emote. That's really it. There's not much to it at the moment. If there's enough people who actually get subs and shit, then I can add more to it. But at the moment, all I have is just, like, one. So, that's what you get. As great a detective as Tateno is, it's not like anyone else in the world has ever heard of him. I suppose not, Kano said. So? Only time anyone ever hears a cop's name is if he's caught up in some scandal or killed in the line of duty. I mean, doesn't really seem fair, does it? Kano just shrugged. It was a strange definition of unfair, really. I mean, you've got celebrity chefs and celebrity hairdressers and stuff, so how come no celebrity gumshoes, you know? Look, please, can you just focus on what we're doing here? Kano rubbed his eyes, then turned his attention back to Hitomi. What's the matter? Didn't sleep? Not enough, I guess. Did you eat? Didn't have time. Between bringing in supplies for the base of operations, readying the team's vehicles, photocopying hundreds of documents, and various other tasks, Kano had barely slept the previous night and hadn't gotten a meal in either. What does this mean? I think we know what that means. What have you been doing? Sasayama puffed out his chest. Saving up my energy for today. So you were sleeping. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. There he is! Kusei's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. A man in his 20s, wearing a sleeveless red jacket. He's carrying a garbage bag. Or that could just be a dude carrying a fucking garbage bag.
Obviously, it means a bass guitar that doctors use.
Makes sense.
Exclamation mark, trash man.
A young man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He strode toward her, a sinister look on his face. He didn't match Hitomi's description, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper had hired some young street punk to snatch the ransom payment. That our guy? What do you think, Kano? Sasayama whispered. Yeah, I think he's gotta be. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. He bent his knees, ready to act fast. Blood rushed to his leg muscles, banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Could this be the culprit? Or perhaps... The young man tried to snatch the briefcase from Hitomi, but she clung to it with desperate strength. It was him. The detectives rushed in. Whoa, hey, what the hell? The young man cried out frantically and tried to dart away, but the officers closed in, forcing him bodily to the ground. Target secured. Oh, geez, I think we got another suspect on the scene. Eek, he's taken the ransom! Kusei's hysterics made Kano spin around. Sure enough, a foreign-looking man was sprinting away, attaché case in hand. The mob of detectives scrambled to pursue. Before Kano could react, most of them had run off, leaving him to look after the original suspect. What should I do with this guy, sir? He might have some connection to the kidnapper. Should I bring him in? Huh? Oh, sure, that'd be swell. I'm on it. This is called 428 Shibuya Scramble. Originally on PS3 in Japan. Officially out on PC ages ago now. In English. With the help of one of the remaining detectives, Kano brought the suspect back to the Shibuya precinct. Yes, it is a game. Fuck, Daddy's gonna need some water after this. Ooh! I've been drinking lemonade, so my throat's a little shit at the moment. Look, how many times do we have to go through this? Cut the crap. In the interrogation room, the young man who gave his name as Aichi Endo steadfastly insisted on his innocence. Why'd you try to steal the case? Kano watched Aichi's face intently. Like I said, it looked heavy, so I was just trying to help her out. It wasn't inconceivable that a young guy would want to help a pretty girl, but he told me he had just been standing there, hardly in desperate need of assistance. She hadn't set the case down, so I figured there had to be something important inside. An entry from Kano's dick diary shot through his mind. Don't take that out of context, please. Dick dictum number 25. When the tongue slips, grab it and yank out the truth. Classic advice for questioning, rather. Something important, you say, such as, how the heck would I know? Archie spat.
Kino is used to things shooting through. Same could be said for rimming.
How the heck would I know? Archie spat. He huffed and slumped back in his chair. This standard textbook back and forth had been going on for nearly an hour. Kano didn't mind. Chasing down criminals was all well and good, but questioning suspects was another key part of the job. Plenty of off-the-scene work went into cracking a case. Once again, he had Achi explain what he'd been doing, starting from the beginning. When Kano finally emerged from the interrogation room for a short break, he learned that there had been some progress on the case at the crime scene. What the police hadn't been able to determine yet, however, was whether or not Maria was safe. Fighting back his anxiety, Kano consulted his dick diary. Of course he would. Dick dictum number 54. Haste makes waste. He felt his tension subside, remembering the right maxim always helped. It was like casting a magic spell. Kano returned to confront Achi once more. You were there to act as a distraction. To mess up the investigation, weren't you?
Exclamation mark me out.
Huh? Achi looked a bit dumbfounded. Hey, Snoop.
He sure likes playing with his dick.
Yes, he does.
Diary.
Very much. What are you on about? Dick dictum number 55. The truth hungers to be free. You hungry?
This man has more dick on
Got
him
some
than
katsudan if you like.
afraid.
What is katsudan? If you don't know, it's really fucking delicious. It's a pork cutlet that's deep fried with a panko bread. Just read that. That's what that is. It's really good. And I actually really want it right now. That sounds really fucking delicious. I'm hungry. I'm starving. I want food. Achi nodded silently. Achi devoured the bowl of katsudan with gusto. He looked like he hadn't eaten in a while. Alright then, spill it. What's this guy after? Achi just shrugged. I don't know. He murmured, a thick slice of egg-laden pork between his teeth. How many accomplices do you have? Kano asked, but Achi just shook his head as he inhaled his food.
I told my fiancé to get a gaming lappy for himself, and it's pretty nice.
Sweet. What kind did he get? Resignedly, Kano flipped through his notebook once more. Let's see, number 115.
So BRB.
Use the lights to your advantage. As the minutes ticked past, he found himself referring to his book again and again, trying a dozen different methods to tease out whatever his suspect might be hiding. Something about a joke here involving dicks and teasing, but I'm not going to touch it. The experience began to feel strangely surreal, their two voices echoing hollowly in the interrogation room. Eventually, Kano looked at the clock and realized that the questioning had been going on for nearly 5 hours. Jesus Christ. He still hadn't made any headway. What was he supposed to do next? Tatena would know, but he sure didn't. Still, he was determined to do whatever he could to keep the victim and her family safe.
Is the Japanese doing the puns or the translating team?
I don't even think it's meant to really be a pun. I really don't, because from what I remember, the original game, the translation's on par. Translation is perfectly fine, because they don't... I think they're just using shorthand, just because it's a lot easier, and it actually fits in with the screen, basically, because there's a lot of words. So I don't think it's an intentional pun, but it's definitely a pun. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he perused the Dick Diary like it was scripture. Number 116. The monotonous questioning was clearly tiring Achi out. His eyelids drooped like they were beginning to get heavy. Number 117. Get them when they're tired. Kano's eyes gleamed. You're part of some criminal gang, huh?
This game is literally just a fan fiction with a team behind him. LMFAO, I just shot Dr. Pepper out my nose.
Achi's head slumped forward heavily. Nodding off was basically the same as nodding yes, right? Mr. Kuze, I did it! The young guy we grabbed at the handoff site. He finally confessed to the crime. What? What are you talking about? Kuze laughed in disbelief. We're just about to apprehend the mastermind here. Huh? Kano clutched his cell phone, dumbstruck. Listen, why don't you, Look, just wait there at HQ, okay? No, it can't be. After the kidnapping case wrapped up, Kano tendered his resignation. Guess I'm not cut out to be a detective after all, he thought to himself. He dropped the Dick Diary on his desk as he left the Shibuya precinct for the last time.
That frame looked like he killed himself.
Kano wound up at a bad end. However, this does not mean that the choice he made for Kano was the wrong one. One of the other protagonists, Achi Endo, has an impact on Kano's fate here. You can avoid a bad end by making proper decisions in another character's story. For a detailed hint, check the tip by underlining the bad end title, pressing tab, then space. So, tab, space. Hint! Kano had every reason to suspect Achi Endo, but arresting him turned out to be a mistake. If Achi hadn't approached Hitomi, this wouldn't have happened. Try playing Achi's story up to 10:30 and make a choice that keeps him from going up to her. If you do that, Kano won't even have a chance to arrest him, and things should play out differently. And that's the entirety of the game, is basically going back and forth between each of the characters that are involved, making different choices. Those choices affect the other story, etc., etc. He's a pretty boy. Oh, goddamn. Let me see that ass. Okay. Yeah, you don't need clothes. Nah, take them off. Never mind. You're going out. You do kind of need clothes. Achiendo called out at the door to his father's room. Okay, I'm heading out. Sure. His father sounded unconcerned. He didn't even open the door. Sure you don't want me to stay here in the shop? It's not like we're gonna get any customers. Achi grimaced. Yeah, I guess not. The drawer by the front door held a stack of heavy-duty trash bags. Achi pulled a few of them out. Guess it's gonna be that kind of day. He stuffed the trash bags into his pocket, then slipped on his favorite pair of sneakers. The entryway to Achi's home was led into the family shop. Various pieces of electronics were piled up like so much junk in the tiny retail space. The slightest bump brought the risk of an avalanche. Achi wove his way through the gaps and the appliances like a spelunker exploring a cave. From Shibuya Station, if you make your way past the 109 building, then up through Dogenzaka, you'll come across an old shopping district. Nestled in its outskirts is Endo Electronics, in the same place it's been for decades. Within its dimly lit interior, you'll find rows of wares all caked in dust. At a glance, you might well assume the place was closed. A mom-and-pop place like Endo's couldn't compete with the big consumer chains booming throughout Shibuya. So far, the store had remained in business thanks to the locals who appreciated that they made house calls to do repairs. But things weren't looking good for the future. Achi, the eldest son and nominal successor to the business, had no interest whatsoever in working there. Achi stepped out of the shop and into the sunny morning air. This is a fucking tongue twister, you guys. I don't know if I can handle this. The good weather lifted his spirits. Alrighty, time to do this.
Horny is strong in this game.
He unfurled one of the big garbage bags, which caught the wind and fluttered like a cape. Then he slowly made his way toward Shibuya Station, scanning his surroundings all the while. Sheesh, this place is filthy. He paused to pick up a plastic bottle that had been tossed on the ground. Then, with a heavy sigh, he slipped the crushed receptacle into the trash bag. He's a good guy. He'd been picking up trash around town like this for about 6 months now. It had gotten so that the sort of garbage most people would hardly notice stood out to him like a sore thumb. Most days he'd fill his trash bag to the top by the time he made it from his house in Dogenzaka to the train station. Today, he was halfway to the station when a woman's anxious voice caught his attention. I'm sorry. I'm in a bit of a hurry. Here. He looked up and saw a timid-looking woman being confronted by 2 men. One with brown hair, one with black. From the look of them, he guessed that the men were scouts for some hostess club. He ran into this sort of thing pretty frequently on his trash cleaning walks around town. Another kind of trash to take care of. Achi quickly interposed himself between the girl and the 2 recruiters. Hey, can't you see that you're bothering her? Huh? Who the hell are you? The 2 men glared. Take a hike, pal. Achi stood his ground. Look, she ain't interested. You're just gonna have to find some other mark. The hustler's annoyance turned into open rage. Well, listen to you. Got a bit of a mouth, huh, buddy? The brown-haired thug smacked his lips around his chewing gum like a dog worrying a bone. How about we take this someplace more quiet, yeah? What exactly is someplace more quiet? What this means can depend on the person speaking. To a young woman, let's go someplace more quiet might suggest a cafe or a park. But to a street punk, it might mean an alley where passers-by are unlikely to interrupt. The girl stood by uneasily watching the goings-on. Hey, take it easy. I'm not looking for trouble. Is that supposed to be an apology? On your knees and beg, pal. The man spat his gum onto the ground. Achi looked down at the glistening wad of gum on the sidewalk. And he became triggered. His last shred of goodwill vanished. You better pick that up right now. What? Didn't you hear me? 'Cause I told you to get down on your knees and Achi's hand shot out, grabbing the man by the jaw. Whoa, whoa, easy, pal. The other man's bravado drained from his face. Achi tightened his grip on the brown-haired hustler's jaw.
1 million.
1 million troops.
Wow.
1 million troops.
Love you guys. Sweat dripped from the man's reddening brow. Ugh. The man struggled, but Achi just tightened his grip.
To use the sequencer in this fanfic law.
Gum's a real pain in the ass to clean up after it's gotten stuck to the street, you know. Ever stop to consider that? Wait, are you... The other hustler's panicked eyes had fixed on Achi's chest. Oh, crap. That shirt, man. The guy's voice was starting to break. That's mean clean. A guy with a mean clean shirt carrying around a trash bag? That means you're... His face went pale. Mean clean? The other man echoed the words through his held-shut jaw, tears welling up in his eyes. Get it right, pal. Achi clenched the man's jaw harder still. It's mean clean. Ow, 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 ow. We're sorry, man. You're Achi, right? Dude, we honestly had no idea. Come on, man, you gotta cut us some slack. The man scrambled to snatch the wad of gum off the street, stuffing it into his pants pocket. Finally, Achi let go of his companion. The brown-haired hustler's face was twisted up with fear, tears streaming down his cheeks. Gasping out hasty apologies, the two thugs scampered off. Hey, so... A shy smile came to the girl's face. What's a girl? Ryoko Kakinuma, a second-year student in Midoriyama Academy's law school. These hustlers managed to corner her while she was on her way to a part-time job at a cafe. It's a popular plot in trashy e-novels for the main character to fall in love with a hustler like these guys, but such things rarely happen in real life. Thank you for saving me. No, I apologize. Huh? The girl stared in surprise. You'll run into creeps like that now and then, but don't hold it against us. Shibuya's a good town. Yeah, okay. Achi gave her a quick wave, then turned and continued on his way down Dogonzaka. Achi was Shibuya born and raised. He was keenly aware of all the changes the ward had seen since he was a kid. Grocery stalls and inconspicuous little side streets, tiny parks nestled between buildings. Achi knew it all like the back of his hand. Trash, human or otherwise, had no place in this town. Not on his watch. He's a good boy. Achi made his way down toward Shibuya Station. Throngs of people shuffled to and fro across the scramble. The view shifted constantly from one moment to the next, almost as if the city itself were alive. And if the city was living, or was a living thing, then Shibuya Station was its heart. With streets like Bunkamura Dori in Center Gai, serving as the arteries pumping a bloodstream made of people. Today, as ever, the heart was pumping that blood to every nook and cranny of Shibuya. And there was Achi, just another part of this great urban organism. Guess I'm one of the city's white blood cells. Or wait, maybe I'm a red blood cell. Huh. Hold on. Is that right? Or did I have it right the first time? White blood cells eliminate pathogens from the bloodstream. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. Achi was probably thinking of white blood cells. Emerging from his reverie, he noticed a rather conspicuous young woman standing by the statue of Hachiko outside Shibuya Station. Ooh, she's totally my type. What is my type? To be up someone's alley. To be someone's cup of tea. Really? That's... okay, whatever. Wonder if she's a model or a small-time actress or something. Looks like she's waiting for someone. Probably another guy. Dang. Good looking as she was, there was no way she was already taken. Or wasn't already taken. What kind of guy scored a girl like that? Probably the rich-ass CEO of an IT company or something. Crouching down to tie off the trash bag, he continued gazing wistfully at the girl. Then he noticed something peculiar. She was carrying an attaché case. The kind a businessman might use. It was a large case, and apparently so heavy that she was struggling to hold it despite using both hands. Alright, now we got the choices. You've reached a decision point. Let's have Achi not approach Hitomi. Use those to select an option and press space. So, now what kind of person makes a young lady lug around something heavy like that? Achi figured he'd offer to carry it for her, or... But first, I gotta dump this trash. He looked around to see if there was a garbage bin nearby. Obviously, that's gonna be the correct answer. But first, I gotta dump this trash. Now Achi won't approach Hitomi, which means he will avoid being arrested by Kano. At the same time, Kano's fate will also change, and he will no longer wind up at a bad end. So let's switch back to Kano's story using the time chart. Press F2 to open it. Okay. This is the time chart. It shows the protagonist's progression. Throughout the story, decision points are marked with that. Kano's fate has changed based on Achi's actions. Select Kano's 1030 block, then press space. I suppose you could call it that. Kano gave a wry smile at his partner's lack of shame. There he is! Kuze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. The man in the black coat. He's not Japanese. Looks to be in his early 30s. Previously, Achi got mixed up with Kano and the police, but now another man has appeared instead. By changing what Achi did, you've also changed Kano's story. A foreign man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He made his way toward her, his expression blank. He didn't match the description Hitomi had given them, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper was using an accomplice to snatch the ransom payment. All right. Sasayama raised an eyebrow. This may be our guy. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. He bent his knees ready for action. Blood rushed to his leg muscles, banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Was this the culprit? Or perhaps... The stranger took hold of the attaché case. It was him. En masse, the detectives began to close in. Let's go, Kano. On it. Sasayama and Kano leapt into action. But they never expected what happened next. With the case clutched in both arms, the man veered suddenly, running right toward them. Okay. Kano's story had suddenly hit a keep out. Refers to a point in the story where your progress is currently stopped. In order to advance beyond a keep out, you need to jump from another protagonist story at 1030. Oh, it's okay. At 1030, Achi has the text, young man in a suit, set as red keywords. Checking these red keywords will allow you to jump from Achi's story back to Kano's. Now head back to Achi's story and keep an eye out for that key phrase. Okay. I do that... Huh? Oh, I have to choose it again? Okay. Huh? A man had come up beside the girl. He was dressed in black and he wasn't Japanese. It looked like they were having a conversation. The girl nodded tensely at something the man said. Achi stared. Something tells me that's not her boyfriend. The girl handed the attaché case over to the man. He took hold of it with his right hand and began walking briskly away. Whoa! A nearby homeless man suddenly leapt over Achi and broke into a run as if he'd been waiting for this very moment. What is a homeless man? We already know. Sprinting alongside him was a young man in a suit. Some words in the text appear in red. Red text denotes important keywords that let you jump between different protagonists. Stories. This allows you to shift between characters at specific points. These can also allow you to clear out a keep out in another character story and let you read on. If you come across red text, press to underline it and then press. A window will appear allowing you to jump from one protagonist to another at that point. Then press that to continue. Okay. Give it a try. By performing a jump from this screen, you can advance another protagonist story past to keep out. Okay. Do it. Let's go, Kano. On it. Sasayama and Kano leapt into action. Jump from red keywords to clear out. Yep. Okay. Okay. Tutorial message for a while. If you get stuck somewhere, try changing the protagonist or making different decisions. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Please. Game. Thank you. But they never expected what happened next. With the case clutched in both arms, the man suddenly veered, running right toward them. What? Catching sight of the two detectives, the suspect staggered to a halt, then bolted off in a new direction. Kano whipped off his costume, glasses, and followed in hot pursuit. At the crosswalk, the signal changed to red, and the flow of foot traffic abruptly halted. Just as quickly, hundreds of cars all lurched back into motion. There was no escape for the culprit now. Or so it appeared. The converging cops slowed their pace, confident their man was cornered. Then the foreigner barreled straight into the intersection, dodging between the oncoming cars without any hesitation. The mob of detectives came to a halt, not eager to rush to their deaths along with him. Kano, however, remained in hot pursuit, charging into the traffic at the crossing. Kano, are you crazy? Come back! Kano heard Sasayama shouting, but his feet kept carrying him onward. With shouts and sirens echoing all around him, Kano closed in on the stranger. On the foreigner, rather. Just a little closer. Just a little closer and he'd be in tackling range. He leaned forward, preparing to pounce, his eyes fixed on the culprit's feet. It was now or never. Kano, back off. Don't take him down. It was Kuze shouting through Kano's earpiece. Huh? Kano hesitated in surprise. Had he really just been ordered not to apprehend the criminal? Let him go for now. The real perp is someplace else. What's the real perp? We already know. What had happened to the plan? He'd been told that all personnel were to secure the area ASAP. Didn't HQ want them to catch the perpetrator? Arrest team, stay on the foreigner's tail. Forensics team, get busy cross-referencing photos. Even if this foreigner was only an underling hired for this one task, the police had now tipped their hand that they'd been lying in wait. If they didn't lock things down now and get more info on the kidnapper, our girl's life might be at stake. What is an arrest team? I think we know. What is the forensics team? I think we know. Kano recalled another maxim from his Dick diary. Dick dictum number 12. Always assume a worst-case scenario. If Kuze had told him to let this guy go, that implied he was counting on the team that was now in position. But if the crook had planned a way to break through the police dragnet and escape with the ransom, and he succeeded, what was the right call here? Should he take this guy down or back off after all? Ah, shit. Fuck it.
It does the funny.
Letting the perp escape now is too big of a risk. He had to catch this guy ASAP. The man darted down a narrow alleyway. Kano ran faster. The man sprinted down through the side streets. Evidently, he knew his way around Shibuya pretty well. Eep! Someone's taken Hitomi! Kano recognized Kuze's trademark squawk immediately. Subject is male. He appears to be carrying a gun. He's fleeing in the direction of Meiji Dori. What? Kano could hardly believe it. Hitomi had been kidnapped. Had she been abducted by whoever had taken Maria? But why? Someone must have been waiting for the moment when the police took their eyes off her. Something's very wrong here. What in the world is going on? Kano saw that the road forked up ahead. The man with the attaché case ran to the left. If the man who'd taken Hitomi was heading toward Meiji Dori, there was a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways off to the right. Making a snap judgment, Kano told the detective behind him to follow the case snatcher, then turned and headed down the nearest alley. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man, another foreigner, crossing an intersection a few dozen meters ahead. The man was dressed in black, just like the guy who'd grabbed the ransom money. Kuze's right. The kidnapper wasn't acting alone. But wait. Something was amiss. Hitomi wasn't with him. Where was she? Kano skidded around the corner, then stopped short. The man in black was standing there pointing a gun right at him. Before Kano could react, the man fired. Kano felt hot all over, as if he were on fire. All except for his cheek, pressed against the asphalt in the palms of his hands. They felt so cold. There was nothing he could do. Nothing, that is, except lie there and watch as his killer turned and walked away. Shot by a foreigner. By trying to find a man who'd taken Hitomi, Kano ran into a different criminal, and unfortunately for him, he got shot. The criminal hadn't been able to get near Hitomi. She probably wouldn't have been taken. Have Achi make the choice to talk to Hitomi instead at 10:35. Maybe in a moment. I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a different choice. I'm going to try choice B and see what happens. Kuze's instructions had been clear. Let the other officers chase after the guy. Kano had his own job to do. He broke off his pursuit, pointing the next wave of detectives in the direction the foreigner had fled. Kano had almost gotten close enough to get a good look at the guy's face. But if Kuze had ordered him to let the guy go, well, his boss should know what he was doing. The perp was someone else's problem now. He had just ceased his pursuit when Kuze's panicked voice sounded shrill in his ear. Eep! Someone's taken Hitomi! Kano recognized Kuze's trademark squawking immediately. Subject is male. He appears to be carrying a gun. He's fleeing in the direction of Meiji Dori. What? Kano could hardly believe it. Hitomi had been kidnapped? Had she been abducted by whoever had taken Maria? But why? Someone must... We've read this already. Something's very wrong here. What in the world is going on? Kano hurried to search for the man who'd taken Hitomi. If he was heading toward Meijidori, there was a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways nearby. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man. Another foreigner crossing an intersection a few dozen meters ahead. So does it not matter what I chose? The man was dressed in black, just like the guy who'd grabbed their ransom money. Kusei's right, the kidnapper's been acting... Wait, something was amiss. He told me he wasn't with him. Where was she? Kano skidded around the corner and stopped short. Bang! Shoot dead. K. Yeah. I don't see how talking to the chick is gonna stop dude from being shot. Oh, actually, yeah, it would, because he wouldn't have any way to actually go... Yeah, because he wouldn't actually go towards Meijidori. That makes sense now. Okay. Well then.
Because the abduction would go wrong.
Yep. Whoa! A nearby homeless man suddenly leapt over Achi and broke into a run as if he'd been waiting for this very moment. Sprinting alongside him was a young man in a suit. Then, seemingly from everywhere, a whole bunch of other guys burst into motion. First one, then another, a third, a fourth, a fifth, over a dozen now. What the heck? Clearly something big was going down. Were they after the attaché case? Within moments, Achi lost sight of them all through the crowd. With that many people chasing him, the guy with the case was sure to get caught. But wait, what about that girl? Achi turned back around. The girl was still there. She was staring in the direction that the man who'd taken the case had gone, a worried expression on her face. But that's the thing, if I've lived there long enough to know that if there is a video shoot, there are signs everywhere that let you know there is a video shoot here. Pretend you don't see cameras. Things like that.
Veiled another crazy day in
So,
Shibuya.
Achi couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Maybe he should talk to her and ask what was going on. But just as he was making up his mind, a middle-aged man in a ratty business suit shuffled awkwardly over to her first. Was there something wrong with one of his legs? He was using a cane to walk, then one of his hands slipped into his jacket pocket.
Also, movie cameras are huge as fuck.
Yeah, they are. Achi could scarcely believe his eyes. A revolver? What's a revolver? Colt Detective Special, 38 cal... Yeah, that is a detective special. So this is a detective then, right? Suddenly, a young man came running through the crowd. Seeing him, the man with the cane turned on his heel and vanished in the scramble. Something big was going down. What is all this? The young man was closing in on the girl, his expression grim.
P38.
That guy's up to no good. Achi sprang into motion. Hi-ya! Leaping high, Achi delivered a flying kick right between the man's shoulder blades.
Funny if the kidnapper was the guy that dude looked up to.
The guy went down, but recovered surprisingly fast, spinning back to his feet to grapple with Achi. What the hell is your problem? What the hell is your problem, man? Achi snapped. The two stood staring each other down as the crowd swirled around them. Now kiss. Kiss. Kiss, 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 kiss. Let go of me. You let go of me first. After you let go of me, sure. You first, pal. Don't call me pal, man. Don't call me man, pal. Neither man was willing to... I ain't your guy, dude. Or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't know South Park. I don't watch that shit.
Holy shit.
The crowd had parted to avoid the scuffle. Passers-by were staring from all sides. You're an a-hole, baby.
Love you too, Snoop.
Well, crap. She got a sudden sinking feeling. What the hell am I even doing? Jumped in over my head as usual.
They picked us!
His anger melted away. He loosened his grip. Without further argument, the other man let go of Achi's jacket. Turning quickly away, the stranger hurried over to the statue of Hachiko, where he dropped to his knees, dejected. The girl who'd been standing there was nowhere to be seen.
Also, can I have my head patched now? Okay, Spike Chunsoft employees, come outside for a moment. We need to do a group photo.
There you go. Let's see, maybe this was the guy she'd been waiting on. The guy was clearly upset that she was missing. Achi actually felt kind of bad for him. He decided it would be wise to leave while the guy's attention was elsewhere. Phew. He hurried back along the road to his house. The wind had gone out of his sails, and he didn't feel much like cleaning up trash anymore. Oh well, guess I'll read some manga and go to bed. Better play it safe before the day got any worse. Tussle with the stranger. Achi's interference with a young man, it was Kano, disrupted the detective's sting. If Achi hadn't acted on impulse when he saw Kano heading for Hitomi, things might have gone differently. But how can he make sure Kano doesn't return to the scramble and startle Achi? The key lies further along in Kano's story. Back to Kano's story. But hold on, where in Kano's story exactly am I supposed to go?
I was about to make a web joke and then I realized that he's Japanese.
That's racist.
3 clues to follow. And try again.
Re-choose this one, you mean? Probably.
See how B was lit up.
Well, that's for the selections. But I'll try this. And I think it lights up with the one that I chose previously on the previous screen.
I'm talking about the menu lol.
Yeah. Can I, like... Is there, like, a fast forward button? No. Oh! Kano headed back to the scramble and took up his post again. He told me he was still standing at the handoff point, staring worriedly in the direction that the suspect had fled. No doubt she was wondering why, all of a sudden, the police had decided to let the guy go. Kano jogged over to Hitomi, but before he could reassure her... Hi-ya! A sudden blow from behind sent him sprawling to the ground. Kano's mind flooded with rage as he scrambled back to his feet. What the hell? He spun around to find himself grappling, blah blah blah, we saw this already.
Cats are better.
Okay, here he was, causing a scene in public, blowing his cover in the middle of an important case. This was neither the time nor place for some dumb, random quarrel. Even as he came to his senses, Kano felt the strength ebb from the stranger's grip. He pushed the man away and quickly turned back toward Hitomi. She was gone. He scanned the area for any sign of her, but she had vanished without a trace. Kuze's mobile command center had also disappeared. What did I miss? The blood drained from Kano's face. The investigation had left him utterly behind. There wasn't any signal on his radio. They must have switched frequencies while he was caught up in the tussle. Kano turned back to confront the troublemaker. He was gone too. Kano spun on his heel, searching, but the young man was nowhere in sight. The attaché case, he told me, the troublemaker. He lost all three. Right out of the starting gate, he bungled the entire operation. He should have left Tateno to look after, he told me, and gone after the attaché case himself. What the hell was he doing? Kano felt his self-confidence ebbing away like water. Maybe it's time to move back to the sticks. Maybe Tokyo's too fast-paced for a screw-up like me. He had no idea what to do next, and so he just stood there, frozen. Already drafting his letter of resignation in his head. Maybe shitting a little in his pants. Maybe even pissing and coming, too. Lost sight of the kidnapper. Kano lost sight of Hitomi because of the scuffle with Achi Endo. If he had chased after the thief who took the attaché case, this probably wouldn't have happened. Go back to Kano's 10:30 timestamp and try making a different choice. Okay, I can do that. 10:30.
What is this game about exactly?
So, all we know so far, in the opening cutscene, there was a dude in the back of a van with a cell phone, and he was trying to type something. His cell phone rang, and then the van blew up. And then when the story actually began, or the game actually began, it's about a kidnapping. This girl here, who's holding the attaché case filled with 5 million in, or was it 50? It was 50 million in yen, for a kidnapper who called saying that, I have your sister, give me money. Please, K, thanks, bye, or your sister dead. And that's what we have so far. What if I chose this one instead?
50 million yen equals about 450,000 views.
Then looking more closely, he realized that the girl was Hitomi. Mr. Kuze, I've located Hitomi Osawa. The couple took off running, the rough-looking guy dragging Hitomi by the hand. She's with a man in his 20s. It looks like she's being led away against her will. Clarify, please, Kuze demanded. What's going on? I'm not sure. Was this guy a member of some criminal group? It looked like the two were running away from something. Alright, we'll handle the foreigner. You go after Hitomi. Got it. Kano sprang into action. Stop right there! The young man glanced back at Kano. But rather than stopping, he picked up his speed, continuing to drag Hitomi along with him. She didn't seem quite able to keep up.
Take cups.
Kano knew he could catch them. He tried to close the distance in a sprint. After a short distance, the young man stopped, realizing he couldn't outrun his pursuer. Shielding Hitomi behind him, he glowered at Kano. Why did you run off? Kano demanded. Because you were chasing us. A blatant lie. People didn't just bolt like that without good reason. The young tough started edging away, keeping Hitomi behind him. Kano followed. Look, just let the girl go. The guy glanced back at Hitomi. She shook her head fearfully. Maybe this troublemaker had warned her to keep her mouth shut. You've got this, Kano. Just don't let them out of your sight. Gah! A sudden blow to the top of his head left him staggering. His eyes spun as he reeled with vertigo. There was a flapping sound and a vague black shape wheeled above him. Was that a crow? It was the last thing Kano saw before his vision went dark. Really? That's... Jesus fucking Christ. In the midst of chasing the man who snatched the attaché case, Kano happened across Hitomi and Achi. While confronting them, he suffered a blow to the head and was knocked out cold. But Achi only came this way because he thought it was the quickest way to escape from Hitomi. If he'd gone for the police box instead, things might have gone differently. The key is what Achi does at 10:35. God fucking damn it. Hello, Guardian. Welcome. So 10:30. Or 10:35, rather. Which part do I jump to? Do I go to that one, or do I go back here and choose a different thing? I guess I choose a different thing.
Jump.
Jump? Well, too late. No, you're probably right on that. Can I switch? There we go. Whoa! A nearby homeless man suddenly leapt over, blah, blah, blah. We've seen this already 3 times now. First one, then another, a third, a fourth, a fifth, over a dozen. What the heck? Clearly something's going down.
10:35 low.
I thought I was on 10:35. Was I not on 10:35? Hold on. That is 10:35.
1:30 backslash.
10:35 to 10:40. Because that one's 10:30 to 10:35. Oh, fuck. You're right. I did choose the wrong... Whatever. Achi turned back around. The girl was still there. She was staring in the direction that the man who'd taken the case had gone, a worried expression on her face. Well, that's just another crazy day in Shibuya. They had to be shooting a scene for a film on location. It would probably be a mistake to intrude. Yeah, I bet that's what this is. Some TV show about a kidnapping and the girl has to make a ransom handoff. And there's probably some actor lurking around here playing the suave, handsome detective. Achi gave a chuckle and turned away. A soothing breeze blew by as wispy clouds drifted overhead. They picked a nice day for a shoot. Smiling inwardly, he resumed his trash-picking mission, wondering what other surprises the day would hold. A few moments later, he heard a loud bang, and the scramble went into an uproar.
I think he was the right one, and it would give you another choice.
Someone blow a tire?
Just a guess.
People were running from all directions to see what had made the sound. Oh, maybe they're shooting an action scene now. Achi was a tad bit curious, but he strolled away from the scramble without looking back. Maybe he'd head out to Yotsuya today to stretch his legs a bit. It was best not to get distracted. There was trash that needed collecting.
Kind of brain dead low.
Is this a dude or a girl? This is a dude. Yeah, Achi really isn't the smartest peanut in the turd. Well, gee, where did I go wrong? I think I already know where I went wrong, so let's do that again. Dog trash. Achi couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Maybe she should talk to her and ask what was going on. But just as he was making up his mind, a middle-aged man in a ratty business suit shuffled awkwardly over to her first. Was there something wrong with one of his legs? He was using a cane to walk, then one of his hands slipped into his jacket pocket. Achi could scarcely believe his eyes. A gun? In Japan? It's more likely than you think. With a single fluid motion, the man lifted up the gun and pointed it in the girl's direction. He was aiming right for her head. Huh? The girl had noticed the man with the cane now. Seeing the gun pointed right at her, she froze in fear. Archie didn't hesitate. Breaking into a full run, he tackled the gunman with all his might. Caught off guard, the man sprawled to the pavement. But the would-be assassin kept hold of his weapon and quickly scrabbled back to his feet. Archie knew he had to act fast. He grabbed the ashen-faced girl by the arm and attempted to drag her away. "This way!" he shouted. She just stared at him, uncomprehending, trembling like a startled animal. "Come on, run!" Finally, the girl snapped out of her daze and gave a fearful nod. Now, it mentioned the police box, right? So, the police box, let's go! Still pulling the girl by the hand, Archie headed for the police box outside the train station. But it was empty. There were always policemen staffing these things. Why did it have to be unmanned now? Archie flashed a worried glance behind him and saw the assassin in pursuit like a man possessed. Yikes, this is not good. There was nothing they can do but run. With the frightened girl in tow, Archie ran beneath the JR Yamanote Line railway overpass. "Don't worry, just trust me," he told her. "But first..." They sped past a convenience store where an employee was cleaning up the sidewalk. "Here, take this, will ya?" Archie tossed over the bag of trash. "Huh? Wait, what?" "This way!" They slipped through the crowd and into a nearby back alley. "But this way's a dead end," the girl said breathlessly. "Like I said, just trust me." Stopping abruptly, Archie kicked down a wooden plank covering a gap between two buildings. Clearing a space that a person could fit through. "See? We can get away through here. In you go." But the girl just stood there looking terrified. "What's the matter? Come on, we gotta hurry." But I...
His hands probably stink because of all the trash he touches.
Right? She looked at him as if he too was about to pull a gun on her. He could hardly blame her. After all, he was just some random guy who had turned up out of nowhere. But this was no time for dawdling. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. If they just stood there, he was going to catch them. "Okay, sweetheart, hear me out," he said in a rush. "The name's Achiendo. I live in the neighborhood, and I'm not the kind to stand idly by when a girl's being chased by some killer. So please just trust me, and I'll do my best to keep you safe." He hoped the look in his eyes could convince her he was being on the level. After a painfully long moment, the girl nodded her acceptance. Phew. "Right, let's start with this." They had paused beside an enormous stack of beverage crates. With a quick shove, Archie knocked the whole pile down,
Maybe later some sex.
sending it cascading across their pursuer's path. Now that was a close call. The man with the cane was floundering, struggling to get past the fallen crates. "My bad, man," Archie called out. "Mind cleaning that up for me?" The man scowled back at them and fumbled for his gun. Archie flashed him a wave goodbye, then slipped away between the buildings with the girl. This what? Hurrying down an area... wow, I can't even English now. Hurrying down a narrow alley, they emerged onto a side street lined with dive bars and clubs. Assuming the man with the cane hadn't given up, he would probably lie in wait on the path back to the main road. Archie decided their best bet was to try to stay inconspicuous rather than risk getting caught on the move. "Guess we can lie low here for a bit," he said. He led the girl to the entrance of a tiny old hostess club. She followed him reluctantly. Archie flicked the switch inside the front door and a chintzy chandelier glowed to life. He sat the girl down on the small sofa beside the counter. It happens. I'm not blaming you for it. She gave him a worried look. Archie felt a pang of embarrassment as he realized what she must be thinking. Oh no, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not gonna try any funny business. Someone I know used to run this place. It's not in business anymore, so I figure we're safe here. The girl chuckled at his evident discomfort. All right then, she said. So, we good? We're good. Okay. Well, good. Achi made a vague attempt to straighten his disheveled clothes. So, how about some introductions? I'm Achi Endo. Like I said earlier, you can call me Achi. I'm Hitomi Osawa.
I would like to eat you.
You can call me Hitomi, I guess. With each new word out of Hitomi's mouth, Achi felt his heart sing. She was charming, personable. Just about everything about her was captivating. Achi had never met another girl like her. Achi? What? Is something the matter? You were spacing out there for a bit. Achi shook his head to dispel his daze. Damn it, this is no time to get all starry-eyed. He needed to think of some way to keep her safe from the guy who was after her. Look, can you tell me what the heck is going on? Please, I need to know if I'm gonna help you. Right, okay. I'm not really sure where to begin. Hitomi looked down, lost in thought. Apparently hers was a long story. She stole 25 kilos of cocaine and was going to get... If only it were that easy. All right, she said at last. I guess I'll just explain things as they happened. Wait, hold up. Could you keep it as simple as you can? I mean, I'm not really the sharpest tool in the shed. No shit. No shit, you're not. Complicated explanations ain't exactly my strong suit. Okay, Hitomi chuckled. I'll try my best. She got comfortable and then started her story. So last night, somebody abducted my sister. The kidnapper demanded that I make the ransom handoff personally. He told me to stand by the statue of Hachiko in Shibuya at 10 o'clock in the morning to make the exchange. So I did, and this man came by and took the attaché case. Whoa, I'm sorry. Hold up a sec. Achi had suddenly lost the thread of the conversation. What's lost the thread mean? At times like this, you can press up to go back and reread what you've previously seen. You can also press down to quickly scroll back through the sections you've already read. A mark will appear in the upper left corner of the screen. While you're paging back and forth like this, you can press space to reread the marked page. Interesting. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. You already told me. Go away. Thank you. So I did, and this man came by and took the attaché case with the money. And then afterwards, that other guy with the cane turned up and pointed his gun at me, and... Could you say that again, but, like, simpler? This fucking guy. Huh? Sure. I'm just having trouble following because of that fucking face. I mean, is this the plots of some movie or soap opera? No, that's not... Or some kind of hidden camera show? This is real. This really happened. The look in Hitomi's eyes was dead serious. She's got to be telling the truth. What would be the point of lying? And he had seen the attaché case and the gunman himself. How much was the ransom, if you don't mind my asking?
The Achi guide to flirting. Meet a girl you like. Space out for a while thinking about her in front of her. Ask her how she feels and she tells her story. Preface it by saying, hey, I'm actually brain dead, dumb fuck idiotic in the sex, I guess.
I mean, I have a feeling that Achi's a fucking incel. Hitomi hesitated. 50 million yen, she said after a moment. Jesus. Achi gave a whistle of amazement. The detectives told me that was a typical amount for a kidnapper to ask for. It's plenty, that's for sure. I guess there's good money in that sort of thing. As soon as the words were out, he realized his blunder. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it that way. He fidgeted awkwardly and he told me he looked away. I'm an idiot, but okay, I think I get this kidnapping thing. So I'm guessing those guys were the guy who took the ransom were undercover cops. He replayed the scene in his head. But then, the kidnapper took the attaché case and ran, right? So if you were empty-handed, why'd that guy with the cane come after you? I'm honestly not sure. He told me his words trailed off. This was clearly difficult for her to talk about. Anyway, we should probably get you to the police as soon as we... No! We can't do that. He told me his tone was resolute. I can't take this to the police. Why not? Achi waited for an answer, but none came. After a long and awkward silence, she stood up from her seat. I really appreciate the help, but I should go now. She gave Achi a deep bow. Nuh-uh, hold on. What do you mean, go? Go where? He hurried to intervene as she headed for the door. I don't want to cause you any more trouble. I'll figure the rest out on my own somehow. Hey, I said hold on. He told me he ignored him and opened the door, and their argument came to an abrupt halt. Standing there was the man with the cane, his revolver in his hand.
Shot at a faceless ooh.
To be continued. Achi Endo's 10 o'clock story ends here. However, Shinya Kano still has more to do. Read along further in Kano's story. I would, but it's 11:05. I want to work on the model some more. So I'll play more of this maybe tomorrow or some other day. But I do like the story in this and the way that it runs. I'm actually understanding how it works now, compared to the first time when I attempted this game. So either tomorrow's going to be more Days Gone or more of this. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead, or at least I'm going to go ahead and close out of the streams on Twitch and everything and swap over to the site that shall not be named and work on the Blender model. So have a good night. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. I forgot that it's actually sharing the entire screen.
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a